The big one, obviously, everyone wanted me to talk about on the podcast today is I filmed a debate for Jubilee. But there was one moment where that person screamed at me that I'm disgusting. So, okay, keep your wits about you as you read about this, as you see things about this, because anytime anything is politicized, the truth is often obscured. Blossom was just ridiculous. Why she felt comfortable enough to throw out any kind of threat. Nuts. Pun intended. Welcome back to my publicly documented mental health spiral. So today, a lot of updates, right? Letting the Blaire White Army know she's returned from war, AKA Los Angeles. This trip, is not, I'm not doing a travel vlog right now. This is like a lot of things were done in LA and created in LA that y'all will see and enjoy or hate. So you just need to be in the loop. There's a lot of demented tea that you should know. So first of all, I celebrated my 30th birthday in Los Angeles. Wow. She's old as shit, and it's amazing how I really don't feel it, nor do I look it. No, I will say though, I feel like there was very much an energy shift. So many things have happened. So many demented, like I said, projects took place in Los Angeles. The big one, obviously, everyone wanted me to talk about on the podcast today is I filmed a debate for Jubilee. Now, this debate was a trans liberal versus trans conservative debate. There was 4 on each side. Yes, they found 4 trans conservatives, which is amazing. I've always known that there is a batch to pick from, right? And I've always wanted to be a part of something that really showcased that there are more than just me, because it can't just be me, right? It can't. Like nothing's going to change with just me. I'm the first to say I've done a lot with just being by myself, but I can't do that forever, right? She's getting tired, right? It's getting heavy. And considering I'm old now, granny tranny, and considering y'all hoes are giving me scoliosis, someone's got to pick up a little bit of slack, right? I'll still do the heavy lifting, but a little help is great. I really don't want to get unhinged on this episode because there's a lot of unhinged things to come. But on a real note, the shoot for this debate, this was the craziest debate I've ever been a part of. And if you're a high-ranking member of the Blaire White Army, maybe hailing all the way back from 2016, 2017, if you've seen a lot of the debates I've been a part of, for whatever reason, I've been a part of some really unhinged ones. Hi, Candace.
This girl is a guy. Guys.
Hi, Jamie.
Like, you're not trans. Like, there's a medical definition of being a transsexual.
I'm gonna stop you. Jamie, how are you doing?
I'm okay.
You okay?
Yeah.
Do you feel like talking? You don't have to.
Has anyone checked on Jamie? But this one blows all of those out the water. Really no debate about it, no pun intended. So because I filmed this for Jubilee, which is obviously a very huge channel, and they have their biases, they're libs, which is fine because I was treated respectfully by them, especially off camera. Things got a little shaky on camera, but man, there's just some things I have to let you guys know before it even airs, because I would be a fool to not be my own advocate. I've been a part of these debates way too many times on, lib venues, to not understand that, editing is most likely not going to be in my favor, and that it went down in a way that I would like to be as close to reality, but it was a 3-hour shoot, and from what I've heard, they're editing it down to about an hour. So I've really made peace with the fact that there just has to be things edited out or edited weirdly that I'm going to be mad about. But I feel like if I put y'all on deck now, then y'all are on deck. So the first debate topic was derailed. And when I say it went down like Syndrome. It went down like Kamala on her way to the White House. It really did that. Okay, so I'm not going to spoil all the topics. I'm just going to spoil this one, right? This one was trans military ban. That was the topic of the debate, right? The other side, the libs, made it about 2 minutes into this first debate topic before turning it into a deliberation, a episode of Judge Judy about my career. They completely made it about me, which we were not there to debate me. They started immediately. You can tell they just couldn't hold it in any longer, right? They saw me walk in before we started the cameras, and they just knew it had to go down like that. So, by the way, I'm sick. They got me sick. Not being funny there. Ever since that debate, I have been sick as a dog. Because when you lie down with dogs, fleas. Other people on the panel on my side are also sick. So that demonic energy, the troglodyte demons that had possessed the libs in this debate, it got us sick. Okay, so the first debate prompt, let me not go on a tangent here. The first debate prompt was completely derailed into debating me. They started yelling, "What have you done, Blaire? What have you ever done? It's just a disappointment, all the things you've done." First of all, I think y'all know exactly what I've done, which is why you felt like it was relevant to talk about at all, right? I wasn't just walking in there a stranger. I don't know what y'all do, but clearly y'all been watching Miss Thing for a while. The moderator, for whatever reason, maybe it's because early on in the debate, let that go on for a very long time. Later, throughout the 3-hour shoot, if I ever dared to go off topic, trust and believe that moderator was going to let me know. But during that first one, for whatever reason, they were allowed to go on and on and on about my career. And in the midst of that chaos, from what I heard afterwards, Miss Blossom on the lib side, that was her name, Blossom, right? And I wasn't going to leak any other people that participated, but that's already happened by the other side. So we'll get into that and react to one of those who made a TikTok about me. Miss Blossom, apparently I was told in the midst of the chaos, I didn't catch it when I was sitting there because I had multiple people yelling at me at once about my career and its validity, put out a little comment about how she had someone waiting for me outside. Little violent threat, right? So I think everyone was very lucky that I didn't really hear that in the midst of her and the other one yelling at me both at once, trying to spit roast me, right? They definitely wanted to double team me. So that's the first thing. Because y'all are going to see me really get intense, really get heated, and really get agitated throughout the entire rest of the shoot, that is context, that they opened it making personal attacks on me, saying that my career is invalid, blah, 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 blah. So that is the context that I hope will not be edited out, but I could just foresee the editors saying, the debate prompt was trans-military and they wouldn't stop talking about Blaire's career, and that's not relevant to the debate prompt, so we might edit that out. Meanwhile, that's important context for why I lose my mind throughout the entire shoot, because they set it off like that. So I was pretty upset the rest of the shoot, especially with how long they were allowed to do that, right? Like, I'm sorry. I know I'm up here feeling like I'm going to war, but I'm not in the military, and this debate prompt is about the trans-military ban. So anyways, that's the first thing. I expect they will edit out an entire debate prompt about my career, which should have been something else. So I also expect, I don't know, maybe they'll edit out Blossom allegedly saying her little violent threat. I don't know, because I didn't hear it, so I don't know how it actually played out. The other thing that I expect will be edited out, a special rule was put into place that I had to speak last. So throughout the entire episode, there were many personal attacks made on me that I had to kind of be silent for. Now, granted, they gave Blossom, Miss Blossom. First of all, Blossom was the only formidable foe on set. And that was because she was just loud, right? She was at least willing to scream at me, right? So she wasn't formidable intellectually, but the fact that it was hard to scream over her, right? Because she's also towering over everyone, especially me. Interesting how the biggest one always is the first to make something violent threat, like a violent threat, or escalate things to the context of physical. No. And again, you're very lucky I didn't hear that, because that set would have been shut down if I heard it. So there was a rule that I had to speak last, which was trifling because there were so many times people would say little personal attacks and I had to speak last because of it. Like there was a time where a non-binary, which first of all, why are you there? Why would Rachel Dolezal be on a panel debating Black women's issues, right? Why would a medical condition appropriator be on a panel full of people who supposedly have a medical condition? Beyond me. I made that known, by the way. And there was a little moment where I had to pop off on the director because I was like, why is this person here? I'm a little insulted by that, right?
I'm gender fluid, and I personally identify with both the male and female gender, which makes me non-binary. Other examples include bigender and trigender people who identify as having 2 or more genders.
It's kind of like having a cancer panel and someone appropriating having cancer jumps in. You're lucky you're here. But there was one moment where that person screamed at me that I'm disgusting. So, you know, me speaking last, there's a lot of things I couldn't address until the end, right? That's another thing. The rule for me to speak last, I feel like, is probably going to be edited out. There was one moment where Blossom, always comes back down to Blossom, screamed a racial insult at me, and rather than allowing me even 10 seconds to respond to that racial insult, the director said, cut, moving on, next prompt, as if I were to yell a racial insult at anyone, they wouldn't be given a brief moment to respond. So that really sucked, right? That I just had to hear that and was forced to move on. Another moment that the non-binary made a really disgusting and aggressive expression and movement at me. Like, I couldn't even replicate the horrendous face this person made at me because, first of all, I've had too much Botox. And second of all, I don't want to make that ugly face. Not on camera, right? But I addressed it immediately and I said, don't look at me like that. Because one thing about it, what y'all will see in this debate is I'm done with the disrespect. You know, everyone's free to say whatever they want about me in your little TikToks, your little tweets, your little Instagram posts. But if you ever are in the room with me, and this is the context of like a transgender community debate, we're going to act like we have some sense. And we're not going to pretend as if I am not a sizable part of the trans discussion, that I am not here as someone who has influenced that discussion in many ways over the course of the years, right? Which is, you know, very evident by the fact that y'all jumped into the debate immediately talking about me when I know nothing about y'all. So y'all have a million things to say about me. I don't know anything about you. So there's going to be a baseline level of respect when Blaire White's in the room from now on. Just turned 30, right? Not the 23-year-old. It's going to be on set, taking degradation, taking personal insults, having my career insulted, not happening anymore. And y'all will see that. The no disrespect flew, right? So as much as, you know, maybe some people are going to have an issue with how aggressive I was in this debate, just know it was because I'm not tolerating disrespect, and we're going to not act like that, right? You're not going to degrade me on camera. Not happening. One more thing that I expect will be edited out. At the end, the situation is so corny. And keep in mind, my voice gone. I'm like sick right now. At the end, my mic is off. In fact, my mic is taken off. Not off. It was taken off of my body. And they start attacking me while my mic is off and I can't really respond in a way that the audio is being picked up. So it's kind of complicated how this happened, right? They've said, okay, we're going to film outros now. Everyone's going to say your last piece and then you're going to walk off set one by one. So I said my piece, walked off set, gave my mic up. And then randomly, now that my mic is off and I'm ready to actually leave the studio, they say, actually, Blaire, we need you to sit back in with everyone on set. And we're going to do the outros all together. And we're going to walk off all at once. So I'm the only one in the group with no mic on. And the non-binary decides to yell, "You're disgusting." They start making personal attacks again at the very end while I have no mic on. And so y'all might not even have audio of me responding. So that's frustrating, right? That's frustrating. Again, maybe they will edit it as close to reality as possible. We shall see. I have faith in them. Please, please. But we'll see. Blossom was just ridiculous. Why she felt comfortable enough to throw out any kind of threat. Nuts. Pun intended. And again, she was the only formidable foe, but that was just because she was a loudmouth. And as a fellow loudmouth who can clock my own tea, I'm a loudmouth. I can be annoying as shit. I'm a loudmouth, right? But as a fellow loudmouth, Blossom, some advice. You can kind of get away with being a loudmouth if there are also some cohesive thoughts coming out of it. But when you're loud for no reason, not the best vibe, right? Throwing off the vibes. So, I get away with being a loudmouth probably more than I should, but it's because there are some cohesive thoughts coming out. It's not just a bunch of shit, right? And it's definitely never escalating to making any kind of threat that involves bodily harm to the person I'm debating with. Why y'all thought this was WWE or a debate about the validity of Blaire White's career? Again, nuts. Again, pun intended. So we're going to watch. Again, I wasn't going to talk about, who was on the panel, but they started leaking it first. So we're going to react to a little TikTok made by one of these people who I actually had to do a double take to confirm that this person was even on the debate panel with me because they were so not memorable. And they addressed me a total of probably 0 times the entire time that I was like, wait, was there a 12-year-old on the panel? Because who is this? Watch.
Yes, it literally was. And the episode was middle ground with trans liberals and trans conservatives. Like, let me tell you something. Obviously, like, the trans conservatives, like, their views are so, like, crazy sometimes, and you're like, I just can't even wrap my head around how you fucking think that way. Like, in a million fucking years, like, I'm literally gonna fucking shoot myself. At the same time, like, I feel like the people that they chose seemed willing to share their experience and also, like, wanted to talk about other people's experiences. Like, the other fucking trans conservative people were, like, fine, and Blaire White literally pulled up to have her, like, protect the children, serve the United States to fucking America, and fuck non-binary people. I'm protecting minors. I'm protecting the children. Oh my fucking god, like, I fucking cannot. The literally funniest part that I just remembered is that our, like, production, like, sent an email that was, like, basically listed, like, 2 rules that was, like, don't wear all black, and please refrain from bringing anyone with you to set. She pulls up in an all-black outfit with her husband, bro.
First thing, not married. Y'all didn't miss anything. Second of all, the color I was wearing was called onyx. It's an off black with some blue and gray undertones. Sure did. Second of all, if you think for a second that I am rolling up to any shoot where I am having to be in the vicinity of animals, right, who I have had enough experience with, not you, because again, you didn't address me once. All this passion on TikTok is nuts because I don't think we even spoke in the room. Why you weren't able to say how you felt and do that whole, oh my fucking gosh, she's crazy. You could have did that while I was sitting live, loud, and in color 2 feet from you. But, that's how this person wants to operate because, again, were you a fly on the wall or were you sitting in a chair across from me? I don't remember. Why you think that having been in this, lane for the better part of a decade and had experiences with people like y'all, why I would roll up to any shoot or any set by myself, not going to happen, right? And clearly, I was right to not go on my own and not have any other advocate there with me because one of y'all decided a violent threat was appropriate to be made. So not as if that was actually carried out, but if it was, thank God I wasn't by myself, right? Right. Why your only takeaway from this entire debate was something about my outfit, something about the fact that I came with the welfare of children in mind, something that serve America, I don't even know what he meant by that. I don't remember. Maybe I said something positive about America during this 3-hour shoot. No idea. But you can see the really demented, troglodyte demon-possessed mindset these people have that they think that it's an insult or that I looked dumb going on set saying, can we not sterilize children? Right? Notice one thing this young gentleman didn't say out of all of this. So the takeaway is the outfit I was wearing, don't remember what outfit you were wearing, babe, that I didn't come alone. And the thing that he didn't say is that anyone got me. Was I ever debunked? Was I ever proven wrong? Did I have any moments where I looked dumb that you could cite? Because saying that I came with the intention of defending children and or America isn't exactly that, right? So again, take note of that. One thing you can't say is anyone debunked me or proved me wrong. And again, you had your chance to speak up and tell me I'm crazy and tell me I'm wrong to my face, and you didn't. In fact, again, I had to do a double and or triple take to make sure that I could even put this TikTok in this video, because I was like, wait, was this person really there? I don't remember you, babe. I don't. Anyways, y'all are going to love the other trans conservatives that are there, because, they also did their big one, right? They definitely had my back and I had theirs. There was one demented moment where Blossom, lovely name, wish it fit, because it doesn't. Where Blossom decided to yoke up on one of the smallest people on the panel, and the youngest, like, I hope it plays on camera and you can see, but completely used her stature and like body language to like intimidate this lovely young trans guy who was on my team, who I think y'all are going to fall in love with him. He was so sweet. He was very sweet. And we had a moment on camera too that I hope is also on camera, a really nice moment. Using like physical, like body language, like towering over this like small like guy to like, it was a lot. Like I said, I got sick. So I've been sick of y'all's shit and also sick. And it was just very intense, but keep an eye out for it. Moving on. Russell Brand accused of rape, sexual assaults, and abuse. So unless you're living under a rock, Russell Brand has been, there's been a big attempt to really deperson Russell Brand, right? Like to completely cancel Russell Brand. It's interesting. I feel like cancel culture has kind of died in the sense of, it's not like everyone's getting canceled for every minor infraction anymore, but like for some reason, like there tends to be just like one big target at a time and they just dump on them, right? Now, I want to be very clear here. I do not know the truth. And I also want to be very clear. I'm not a weirdo who convicts or exonerates people in my head based on if I like them. A lot of y'all do that. And we got to cut that out, right? Because that's weird. And that's, it's very tribal. So that's very human. So it's also very understandable. Not the most enlightened way to go about things. People you like are capable of doing things you don't like. And people you don't like are capable of doing things you like. So Blossom from the debate, lovely name, wish it fit, I hated just about everything that came out of her loud mouth, but I bet she thinks puppies are cute, right? I would agree with that. So she's capable of saying and doing some things that I would agree with. Just because I don't like her doesn't mean I have to deny that, right? Russell Brand two things can be true at once. Russell Brand could be a rapist. And for anyone fixing their comment fingers to, make it seem as if I'm not taking rape accusations seriously, been raped, definitely take it seriously. Definitely know the trauma it inflicts on a person. So if he is in fact that person, clink, clink, go away. Don't need you out in polite society. However, there's a lot of shady aspects of this story, right? And the word story almost seems like that's what it is, right? Because so far the accusers are anonymous. And 5 seconds ago, you would struggle to find journalists with such a lack of integrity that they would publish anonymous accusations like that, right? So the avalanche of accusations, one thing to keep in mind, they are anonymous.
Let me start this by saying I stand with all victims. I think what's being done right now in the Russell Brand case with The Guardian and the other news outlets is part of a concerted effort to turn the public in general against anybody who comes out. And one of the reasons and ways they're doing this is a concerted effort to bend journalistic rules that have always been in place, such as having to be on the record with who you are and what your name is in order to accuse. I didn't make these rules. These are the rules. They were the rules. So there's something very strange going on when these rules are being bent in order to push a narrative. It's almost like Icarus flew too close to the sun. He's a low-lying fish and not one of the truly powerful, so he can be thrown to the wolves. I don't know if he's guilty. I don't know if he's innocent. That's not what this is about. This is about driving us further apart, and mainstream media and media outlets protecting people on a higher up level from true consequence, from what they're really doing and what they're really getting away with. And the real losers in this are actual victims.
This has been made to be political, which is always going to set off a little light in my brain, like, okay, keep your wits about you as you read about this, as you see things about this, because anytime anything is politicized, the truth is often obscured. Russell Brand has been demonetized on YouTube. Now, for someone to have their livelihood taken away with anonymous accusations, no one's going to court, no conviction, no admission of guilt. Russell Brand denies everything. I would like to believe we live in an innocent until proven guilty society, but it's clearly the opposite, which is actually quite terrifying. Consider me shook about that because, I mean, wow. Especially when you consider, because again, this is political, just a list of people that YouTube has no problem keeping monetized. James Charles, who on camera admitted to sexting underage boys in a monetized video, right? And is still monetized to this day and is in fact still in good standing with every platform he's on. Just launched a brand, right? Celebrities are using his makeup. So the UK government reached out to all these platforms to have Russell Brand taken off. And if we're going to pretend like the UK government is suddenly concerned with justice, we're going to roll the tape back and we're going to unpack why they also hid the fact that Prince Andrew was rape buddies with Jeffrey Epstein for so long, right? So the same UK government that hid that is suddenly very concerned with justice when it comes to Russell Brand, who happens to be speaking out against them and who happens to be going against all the forces you know are heavily propped up by the corporate media, right? So again, list of people that YouTube still has monetized. James Charles, admitted to being a diddler, still monetized. Sammy the Bull Gravano, serial killer, mobster. Well, that's interesting, right? Because as long as you're like in the mob, you don't have to take on the phrase serial killer. But pretty sure when you kill like, what is it? Hella people, that's like a serial killer, right? Okay. So monetized fully on YouTube. Went to prison for killing people. Like, do y'all remember how long it took them to finally demonetize Onision? And was it even all of his channels or was it just the main one? Meanwhile, Onision was actually going to court, right? There was actually a lot of evidence. There was accusers who were willing to put their name on the line. Not the case with the Russell Brand stuff. And again, two things can be true at once. We're going to have to learn that, right? That's one of the main things people need to learn. Two things can be true at once that maybe seem conflicting, but actually aren't. So Russell Brand could, in fact, actually be this bad person. This could also be being heavily politicized, and a lot of people could have sat on that information until he didn't toe the line anymore. You know, he used to be a liberal media darling, and now he's not, and all of a sudden, the avalanche comes down, right? How many times have we seen that story? So, you know, it's very difficult. You know, I do take sexual assault seriously. It's something that actually has affected me in my life, and I would be the last person to disregard that. But when it's anonymous accusers, right? And when there's been no conviction, even if the accusers were not anonymous, for there to be no conviction and for there to be a coordinated, like, you know, attack on his socials where he is spreading the messages he's spreading, which are not establishment friendly. In fact, they're very establishment not friendly. It looks fishy. And again, if he is really that diddler that they're making him out to be, then shame on people for sitting on that information until they had a reason to politically annihilate him, right? So the lines are just so obscured at this point that no one really knows the truth at all. And again, I'm not a weirdo who convicts or exonerates people in my own head based on my own personal feelings about them. So my personal feelings say, I like Russell Brand. I like the content he puts out. You know, I'm not like a super loyal viewer. I'm not watching every video he puts out, but I've watched quite a few of them. And I'm on the same page with him ideologically on quite a few things, right? Doesn't mean he can't actually be a diddler. And for y'all who hate his politics, doesn't mean he might not be being framed and being taken down by an establishment that benefits from taking him down, right? So again, why is James Charles still monetized when he has admitted to these crimes? Right? Make that make sense. Seems like a lot of gaslighting going on. But you can't really gaslight about situations like that because, hi, James Charles, you admitted to it. Gaslight that. Satan, gay Satan, that's you. Because again, you look like the gay Satan demon from Powerpuff Girls. So again, I hope that people, even though it's hard, can remain somewhat objective about the Russell Brand stuff and understand that there is clearly incentive for the establishment to take him out. And it's not as if we haven't seen this before. They take a target and they start to deperson them one by one. So, you know, when Trump was banned on Twitter, for whatever reason, that was like the biggest headline that he was banned from Twitter. But do we remember how he was actually banned off like dozens of apps all at once in a coordinated push by big tech? That's what they do. It's coordinated. So you can really believe that Russell Brand did all these things. And you can believe that the UK government is suddenly genuinely interested in justice for these victims. You definitely can't stick your head in the dirt and pretend as if this isn't political. And I don't want to live in a world where these things are political. Like, I want to live in a world where if someone does something, no one's sitting on that information for a decade until that person says something ideologically wrong. And then suddenly we can unleash like beasts. We can unleash the avalanche of cancellation on that person. Don't like that. Don't like that. And James Charles, you gotta go. We're not gonna pretend as if any of that makes sense. That you can admit to being a diddler on camera, keep your monetization, deny being a diddler, have no actual accusers willing to show their face, and that person has their money stripped away. Don't like that. That's a slippery slope. Very slippery slope. That means it can happen to really anyone. I'm gonna wait for due process, and YouTube should have did that too. Miss YouTube, Miss Girl, you should have waited for due process. If there is even going to be due process, because it doesn't look like it's even going to court. So the idea that your career gets to be over something that you don't even have to go to court for, that's pretty bad, right? Don't like that. Don't want to live in that society. Give him back his monetization until any of these claims are substantiated and or proven in court, because otherwise you might as well make it a free for all. And otherwise I'm going to need people like James Charles demonetized. Just demented. Like, what kind of prime minister writes a letter to YouTube, Instagram, Twitter to say, hi, excuse me, we need you to ban this person because they have some accusations against them? Why are you getting your nose in it at all? Don't really understand that. But also, you know, people from the UK tend to not really understand freedom very much either. I mean, not all of y'all. Some of y'all are awesome. But as far as some of the Brit bongs go, I mean, I get DMs all the time. Like the other day I got a DM. I posted one of my new firearms on Instagram. And I got a DM and she said, Blaire, as someone from the UK, I think this is really scary. First of all, calm down. Second of all, why you think I'm the person you can come and try to shame into not showing my personal items that I am legally allowed to have in my own country? Nuts. But then also, y'all need a license to watch TV. Do y'all know that? That's true facts. In the UK, you have to get a license from the government to watch TV. And they have billboards saying that they're watching. And you better have your license to own and watch television. So it's really no wonder how y'all can't fathom owning a firearm, because you can't even fathom watching TV without the government's dick in your ass. No lube. No lube. Beyond that, we're going to move on. And we're going to say a quick prayer. Please do not allow my brain, God, to explode during this segment, because I'm looking at, what is this, 15 woke TikToks I have to react to, and this is already looking insane to me, and I might be the problem. I'm not. Okay, so meet Dee Dee Duffy. Really? That's your name? Okay. A preschool teacher in Cape Coral, Florida. Is it Cape Coral? I don't know. She says she teaches her students that if they don't like their parents, they can find another family, and she teaches them to be gay.
I feel like I had to learn the concept of chosen families really young, and it wasn't anything to do with my queerness, but just based on the fact that I didn't have the love at home that I needed, and I knew that I was valuable and deserved it, so I found it on my own early on. And I shouldn't be blamed for that, because blood still exists. You were never there for me, and I found my own love, and that's okay, and I think everybody should be allowed to do that, and that's what I fucking teach in the classroom, okay? I always say give it to your friend, not your mom, because fuck your mom. And I don't know, I just am so sad. I am so sad, and I hate my sister. She's a fucking all I have to say.
That's my major problem with school. I really don't do anything unless I actually want to do it. And most of the time, I don't want to do anything at all.
So y'all thought, when I talk about the demons, that was a joke. Blaire, you're so funny. You thought I wasn't being literal. You're teaching kids to be gay. How about you teach them about their colors? Because I see you put a bunch of colors on your face, right? You have mismatched blush. You got your brightest, most offensive blue on your eyes. And you are melting down, calling your sister saying fuck your mom as a preschool teacher. In your car, losing it. Losing it. Why do these people keep getting hired? Why do they tend to keep their jobs despite looking like that? For you to even show up to work looking like you just escaped your local mental asylum, right? And I mean literally, if you are an audio viewer, I'm going to need you to just open the video on YouTube and look at what I'm talking about. It's giving, she needs 2 straitjackets. One isn't going to suffice, babe. Why anyone looked at her in the interview process and said, this person can be around 4 and 5-year-olds. That's demented. I have to move on from this because I think I'm shaking. You're terrifying, bitch. You're a scary bitch. And maybe the reason you hate your mom and or your sister is because they filled you in on the fact that you're a scary bitch. What is that? Y'all want to let me know in the comments what that is? And why the producer for this podcast chose to put me in a horror film this episode? Because I know the name is the Blaire White Project, but not really feeling the vibe. Because I feel like I'm in the Blair Witch Project. With those pigtails.
When a kid tells you that they're transgender, believe them. A lot of people will say that it's impossible for a 4-year-old to know if they're trans or not. But actually, that's not true. They can know, and here's why. From day one, gender is baked into everything we do. You either have a boy name or a girl name. Boy toys or girl toys. Boy clothes or girl clothes.
First of all, just because you're cosplaying as a toddler with your little pigtails doesn't mean you can speak for them. Gender is baked into everything. I feel like I'm baked. Am I hallucinating that you had the audacity to come up on camera in those pigtails with that stubble speaking for little girls. I don't think I am hallucinating. And fuck the version of myself 10 seconds ago that said that I'm the problem. That's the problem. No one ever is looking into those demented little eyes of yours and thinking that you have a drop of sense, that there is one word, one syllable, one spit particle coming out that should be taken seriously, right? Again, clink, clink, because we're going to need you to be put away somewhere. You know, back when things made sense, this person would not be getting a sex change. They'd be getting an exorcism. Those demons would be exorcised. You know, this is one of the things about the debate I did in LA. One of the reasons why I went so crazy and why I lost my mind is because it's one thing to sit up here watching these hoes talk about how kids should undergo sex changes in a TikTok or on camera through a screen. It's another to sit across from them in real life. It really is. It's another to feel that troglodyte energy and to smell that troglodyte musk and have to really pretend as if this is a serious conversation, to pretend as if it is part of normal, healthy political discourse and worthy of being within the Overton window at all, that children should undergo sex changes. Clink, clink. Chris Hansen, this one's next, okay? Okay. We're going to keep rolling through because as the general in the Blaire White Army, I can't give up and give out, right? All y'all are at war as well, but the general can't give up, so we're going to keep going. LGBTQ activist says there's no such thing as parental rights. Tell me you're a diddler without telling me you're a diddler. And schools should be able to keep secrets from parents. And you know, with those glasses, he should be taken seriously.
No such thing as parental rights. It's not recognized in law. It's not in the charter. It doesn't exist. Children's rights, however, are recognized and have been for a very long time. Parents have responsibility, which is recognized in the law, but no rights. If your child does not want to tell you something about them, that's your problem.
I think you are everyone's problem, right? And we often talk about people telling on themselves. First of all, you got those glasses. And just like the last episode, this is the go-to for the intellectual heavyweight ass hoes who are just weighing heavy. He's just weighing heavy. Don't be fooled, right? There's no intellect. There's just a different kind of demon coming out. Not the troglodyte demon, the diddler demon. The demon of the diddler. Because how you can fix your mouth to say parents have no rights when it comes to their children. How if a child wants to hide something from their parents, they should be allowed to. The problem is we know what you're talking about, hiding from them, right? Not normal, you know, things going on at school they don't want to talk about, right? Not, oh, I'm getting bullied at school, so I'm shy to tell my parents. Not, oh, I have a crush on a girl at school, but I don't want to tell my parents. You want kids to hide things about gender and sex. That's what you want them to hide. And there is really only one type of person that wants to hide that from parents, right? Right? And I don't think I even really need to tell you what kind of person, because I think you know, audience at home. I think you feel it in your spirit when you watch this fake ass intellectual heavyweight who is just weighing heavy run that mouth. You need to run on a treadmill, babe. Right? And then maybe if you get your look together, you'd be attracting people of a certain age and not, we all know what I'm saying here. Even if there were just no rights that parents had, the fact that you would make a video relishing in that, celebrating that, rather than saying that's a problem, right? Like, if that were really true, my TikTok about it would be, parents don't have any rights. That's bad. Your MO is, parents don't have any rights, thank God. Because that leaves you free to do what you want. It's really not that complicated where this is coming from within him, right? You can see it. You can believe your eyes sometimes. They're there for a reason.
Trans men don't need to be like cis men at all in order to be men. Trans men don't need to know that they're a man from a really young age. They don't need to hate dresses. Trans men can love to wear makeup. Trans men can be of any sexuality. Trans men don't even have to feel like men if they don't want to.
So, basically, in your head, anything that ever made trans a thing is not a thing. And you don't see how that makes it not a thing, right? Trans men don't even have to feel like men if they're not. Then why the fuck would they be trans? Why would they transition? Why? Reading Rainbow. Why, Reading Rainbow, would they do that? See, it's really shocking, actually, how I was thinking about this the other day. It's not as if these people are incorrect about things or serving bad takes at the normal rate at which the average person kind of does, right? It's not as if they're right about some things, wrong about other things. Y'all are wrong about everything all of the time. Y'all sound dumb as shit all of the time. And, you know, when you're wrong all of the time, that's when you start bordering on delusion. That's when you border on a conversation needs to be had about your fitness to even be amongst the general public. Are you a danger to yourself or others? Because even the dumbest person, right? Even the dumbest head in the dirt ass bitch is going to get some things right sometimes. Y'all are just always incorrect. Embarrassing. Reading Rainbow. Just stuck on stupid. Why do they always wear rainbows? Pretty sure to any gay people who are just so obsessed with wearing rainbows, I think we all knew that you were gay when you were sucking dick, right? We all knew I was trans when I talked about my dick, right? Why would I need to wear a rainbow all the time to remind you I have a dick? Why would a gay man need to wear a rainbow all the time to remind you he's sucking dick? This one's also going to hell, you can tell. Mom claims her 7-year-old son is trans and seeks advice on tucking swimwear so he looks feminine. So let's see what Miss Karen has to really say right now.
So I'm at the pool and, kids have goggles on and stuff. Quintina wears a bathing suit bottom that has a skirt on it. And one of the kids went under the water and her skirt had flown up and saw that she, had junk and said something to another kid. Like, is there something that, like, if you're a trans woman, like, is there something that you can wear that can kind of cover it up so, you look on the outside, when you're wearing certain clothes, you don't want to have a bulge, you want it to be smooth, and
you're a fake bitch, right? You are more of a fake bitch than a literal fake bitch, which is me, right? I'm faking being a bitch and you're just a fake bitch. So you, first of all, why are you on camera talking about your child's genitals on the internet at all, babe? Miss Karen, Miss Kellyanne, Miss Susie, why? So you're talking about your kid being embarrassed in the water. It doesn't ring any bells. There's no alarms going off in your own head that it may be embarrassing to talk about their genitals on camera to the internet, the World Wide Web. And taking it back to what I just said, the reason why she's a fake bitch, faker than an actual fake bitch, is she knows exactly what she's talking about when she's like, is there something that, let's just say you're a trans woman. Is there like something you can wear to smooth? You know what I mean? Like, you know exactly that you are referencing tucking underwear. You know what that is, and you're pretending not to because you want to play the innocent mom who just wants to help and learn things. I'm here to learn, and I'm on the journey with my child. You're taking your child on a journey, a 7-year-old, and you are on the internet inquiring about shoving his testicles into his body. Y'all know that's what tucking is, right? You don't just wear something tight that just compresses it and makes it look small. Time to get graphic. When you tuck, you actually do push your testicles inside of your body. Your body has pockets that they go inside and they go up inside. Yeah. So, which by the way, can lead to fertility issues, right? You can cause a really bad injury if you do it wrong. Very important to do it right. And Miss Kellyanne is just so ready. You are insane if you think that it is normal to come on camera saying anything about your child's genitals to the World Wide Web. I'm going to need you to, instead of putting your son on estrogen, get on your own prescription, because that hairline is far back. You're balding. Because again, that demon, it comes out, and it's never going to be pretty, right? It's always going to manifest in something that depletes your physical value, and that hairline is depleted. Blaire, why are you being mean? She's abusing her child. You think a joke about her hairline isn't somewhat warranted? That's the nicest thing I could say to Miss Susan over here, right? Getting all hyped up. Yeah, I may or may not make a joke about her hairline. If that's offending you, go away. Don't be mean to the abuser. Okay. Y'all remember this person, right? How could you forget? New pronouns just dropped via Jeffrey Marsh. Take a deep breath. We're going to make it through this one together.
Xenopronouns. Perhaps one of the most beautiful concepts, one of the most poetic ways to approach this subject. Xenopronouns refers to any pronoun a person has that is unspeakable.
You know, there are many things that are unspeakable. You are one of them. It is actually unspeakable how demented and deranged and demonic and diddlery you are, Jeffrey Marsh. Mr. This is for kids only.
I want to talk to the kids.
What the fuck is a pronoun that isn't speakable? What the fuck is a pronoun which is literally a word, a vibration that comes out from here? That's part of your body, your chest, where your heart is. You don't have one, but it comes from here, right? In what world does that make any sense? In what world are you not just getting off on confusing children? Y'all need to stop naming your kids Jeffrey, because it's clearly not working out. So anyone in the comments whose name is Jeffrey, speak up and speak up now, right? Argue for your innocence. Let us know why we shouldn't think you're a demon, because so far we have Jeffrey Epstein, Jeffrey Marsh, Jeffrey Dahmer, right? It's not looking so good for the Jeffreys. So if you are a Jeffrey who isn't a demon, who isn't destructive, who isn't a diddler, speak up now or forever hold your peace, and the Blaire White Army will decide in the comment section if you are to be freed from clink clink, because I think that's what you need. This man is a nuisance. I mean, oh my God. You're a nuisance. Which is, again, the nicest word I could use. Y'all love, and when I say y'all, I really don't mean members of the Blaire White Army, but perhaps a few of the newer members of the Blaire White Army will sometimes pretend as if I'm a little too mean, right? a little too rough. I think it's easy to remember the psychotic things I say and the aggressive things I say. Maybe it's a little harder to remember who I'm addressing them to each and every time I do it. So, a man who is confusing children deserves a few harsh words. That woman set on the destruction of her son's testicles might deserve a joke about her balding hairline. Looking like big head, egghead, right? Humpty Dumpty. You're gonna fall, Humpty Dumpty. Because I will never stop being mean to Karens like that, right? I will never stop telling the Kellyannes of the world who think that putting their kids through a sex change is somehow honorable, right? You have no honor. No. And I know that sometimes the truth is hard to swallow. But at some point you have to accept it. I know every day for y'all is opposite day. So the truth is going to be not the truth to y'all, right? You live an opposite day every day. But the expectation for me to live there or for me to celebrate opposite day every day, it's a little selfish, don't you think?
I've trained all the children at my summer camp to come to me whenever I play my recorder. A bunch of 5 to 11-year-olds are just following me wherever I go. I have so much power and I love it. It's the perfect time to teach them about trans.
I have so much power and I love it. It's the perfect time to teach them about trans.
I had that holy water blast off camera in between. So, y'all want to act like the groomer discourse is just totally invalid. Literally talking about luring kids in with SpongeBob music to teach them about LGBTQ. That's not grooming at all. Clink, clink. That is the only course of action that should be taken for you. That buck tooth, that bald head, all of that's coming from the demonic possession. And that flute is clearly a demonic artifact. You clearly stumbled upon that flute in an abandoned library that you and your dumbass friends decided, this is great, we should go ghost hunting, demon hunting in an abandoned library. You found the flute, and then that demon jumped inside of you. Because I can't think of any other explanation for why you would come up on camera admitting to being such a piece of shit other than something jumped in you. And I would take that out that I'm giving you if I were you. If I looked this crazy and deranged on camera and then someone gave me the excuse of it's just a demon, I would take that. I would be, it is a demon. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Not me. Wasn't me. Must have been out of my mind because of the demon and the flute that I found in the abandoned library that possessed my body. Get rid of the flute, babe. And avoid kids. Stay far back, like that hairline, from kids. Whoop. Sick. Sick, down low, dirty, nasty, deranged, demonic. Listen, that is it for this episode. I am going to go stick my head in the dirt and pray that by the time I take it out, y'all are not so deranged. Please subscribe to this podcast as well as my main channel. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and I'll see you in the next episode of the Blaire White Project. Bye, guys.